Hello, and we're back to part two of Game Week 23, looking at the two big games this week, Liverpool versus Everton and Man City visiting league leaders for now, Arsenal. Welcome back. Akitayo, be on with me at Talk Football Live.
For
Let's look
now.
at the message for now. For now, we accept that.
I
confident.
like that. I like that.
Let's take
not
a look
alpha.
at the Merseyside derby. That's the first game coming up tomorrow,
Yeah.
on Monday.
Mhm.
So let's take a look at that game.
Yeah.
Both teams are struggling with form, but Everton maybe are looking at an uptick. They recently appointed Sean Dyche. They had that big win over Arsenal, which has maybe rejuvenated them. Liverpool, as we know, are struggling. Last time out, they had a rather amazing loss to Wolves, 3-0. No goals, nothing. Even Klopp says, he was at a loss. He was at a loss to explain what's going on. Bjorn, what is going on with Liverpool?
Man,
What are you
that's
seeing with that team?
again. I don't know why you asked me such a tough question. Because even the manager couldn't explain, right? You want me to explain what the manager couldn't explain of what's going on with Liverpool? All I can tell you is what I see on the on the TV week in, week out, right? And there is a big problem, and I think by now we understand what the big problem is. It's again, to be fair to them, they've been dealt with a lot of injuries. But it's also sad
Yes.
that, a Champions League winner, a few seasons ago, just crashed like that or crumbled like that in within a season. Uh,
Mm.
I think if we had been so observant, we probably would have saw the handwriting on the seen the handwriting on the wall last season when they were struggling, to win the FA Cup final, right? That went to penalties, and that Champions League final against Real Madrid. We expected them to play better. I think people should have started noticing the decline from last season. And eventually, when Diaz, got injured, Jota got injured, I just think it was a bad plan for succession,
Mm.
and that comes from the manager because we all know what happened. Mane left, and I think the decision was based on the data. Like, okay, let's keep the guy that scored more goals, or something that people missed were most of the goals. There were penalties added to it. So if you had based the decision of letting Mane go and letting Salah stay based on goals, realized that Mane had more penalties taken that added to his Salah had more penalties taken that added to his goal tally, right? If you had taken those penalties away, would you have kept Mane instead of Salah? That's a question for another day.
Bjorn, your sound is dropping out.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay?
No, it's having the cracking again.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I should go ahead.
Yeah, so Akitayo, over to you. Some insight into the game, right? So what do you see from Liverpool? Is this likely another Sean Dyche wonder? Is this a game where Everton could maybe snatch all 3 points? Or are you thinking Liverpool will be resurgent in this game?
I don't see anything changing in Liverpool with Liverpool right now because key players are out.
Mm-hmm.
Luis Diaz is out. Jota is just coming back, so we don't know his form. We don't know if he's
Yeah.
fit enough to make an impact in the game. Firmino is still out, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, so they have some key players that are out, and the guy they bought for over 70 million pounds is not delivering.
Yeah.
So that's a big problem for them.
Yes.
Everton could pull up a win tomorrow. We never can say because right now the excitement over the win against Arsenal could be a motivating factor for them, to go all out against Liverpool. And Liverpool is really having issues now. So, and I don't think it's just because they have injuries. I think
Right.
administratively they're having problems too because they're looking into
Mm-hmm.
selling the club and stuff like that. So there's a lot going
Mm.
on. So I think everything is like affecting the whole team. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Mane was a key player that should not have let go. I understand the fact that you have to keep one player between him and
Mm-hmm.
but I think they should have probably found out a deal to keep the two of them because Mane does the dirty job. Salah
Yeah.
scores. Yeah. And once you get that kind of person, that kind of guy out of your team, you need to look for somebody to replace him that is equally as good or even better than him. But they
Yeah.
didn't do a replacement for him. Jota couldn't do the job that Mane would do,
Yeah.
and then they did even Diaz cannot do the job that Mane does. Mane is just Mane. They didn't buy a player to replace him, and we can see
The effect of
what's
it.
happening now, the effect of it, and
Yeah.
the defense is in shambles. Without Van Dijk, there's nothing in that defense, which
Mhm.
shouldn't be. There should be at least somebody as equally as good as him. In case he's out, somebody can easily slot him. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of problems that they're going through. I don't see them winning tomorrow, but you never can say they could spring up some surprises.
And I think you both touched on some key points, right? Which is where I think they're faltering. I don't think there was a good enough succession plan, right? He came in and he built this team over a course of 2 to 3 years, and then we saw them, dominate at that top level for 4 or 5 years. And I don't think there was a succession plan for Salah, for Mane. These are 30-something-year-old players. Fabinho, Firmino. These are Van Dijk. They are all in their 30s.
Anderson, all of them. There's no
Anderson,
succession.
they're all in their 30s. And I don't think there was a succession plan for that second layer behind them, being groomed to take over. And when Mane left, so I think I talked about this earlier as well, right? The Gakpo signing, what I've heard is apparently Van Dijk convinced him to come over. But looking at Gakpo just doesn't seem to fit into the style they want to play. And I thought Klopp had figured it out, when he switched to the 3-4-1-2 formation where he had Salah and Nunes playing up front together, and he was playing, I think it was Thiago right behind them. That formation seemed to work. It seemed to release some pressure off Nunes, expecting Nunes to deliver some magic because he had the distraction of Salah right
Sorry.
alongside him. And their midfield, was more balanced because they had four midfielders. Because with the three that they play, and the way Klopp likes to play in terms of pressing, Gakpo doesn't fit that style of that high.
No, he doesn't do that. Yeah, he doesn't.
But the four midfielders allow them, to be able to avoid needing to take, that press up front and still be able to recover the ball in the midfield. So I'm surprised he's tried to go back to the 4-3-3 when he doesn't quite have the personnel to fit. Maybe when a Luis Diaz is back, maybe when a Jota is back, who are capable of those high presses, then I would understand. But Gakpo just doesn't seem to fit into that.
Yeah, then if you look at
formation.
Liverpool under Mane, they play from the wings.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't have guys right now fit enough to do those runs. There's nobody that will do it. So that's a problem too. With the Diaz can easily find his way through the wings, cross the ball, or cut in and play shots. They don't have players like that fit now. So maybe if they come back, things can be different for them. But right now, they don't have those kind of players.
And looking at it from the Everton point of view, right? We saw what Sean Dyche's plan is, which is a lot of what he did at Burnley, and I think he's going to repeat that against Liverpool, which I know Liverpool will struggle with. It's the long balls. They completely bypass the midfield, and they send long balls down the flanks to the wings. And they back that up. They have that solid three now, Onana, Gay, and
Diame.
Yeah. Those three guys, they just have them, chase after the long balls hard workers, who are going to graft in midfield. And so I think it's going to be a difficult game. Honestly, I don't see Liverpool winning tomorrow.
Me too. I don't see them winning.
I'm a big fan of Liverpool and Klopp, but I don't.
Can you guys still hear me? Am I audible?
Yes.
Is it better?
I think we're back.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Yeah, again, I'm not trying to predict yet, but I just wanted to add to that. You talked about, you brought up the issue of Gakpo, right? Did you have the same feeling or same, maybe concern for Liverpool when they signed Thiago Alcantara?
No, because I liked Thiago when he was at Barca and when he was at Bayern. In fact, I was.
Did you think he would fit into? Did you think he was the kind of player that Liverpool should have signed when they signed him? The way you're thinking it around Gakpo.
I'm thinking back. I'm thinking back to the midfield that Liverpool had before, and maybe
It
not
was
because
it
Thiago
was
is not that
Wanalong,
kind of player.
it was Wanalong,
Wijnaldum, Henderson, and Fabinho.
Anderson, Fabinho.
Yeah, he's not that. He's not that kind of player. He's a player who likes to sit deep and orchestrate the game. He
Yeah.
doesn't press. The work rate is not there, as you said, and that's like, I think you're bringing up a very good point. It's another key reason why they're struggling. They don't have that work rate in midfield at the moment.
Yeah, and I think
Peter,
we've talked about this before, and I think I
No,
mentioned
they're even not that
when
they don't have it. They are getting old.
yeah, when
Yeah.
Thiago joined the team, right? They still had two good seasons, right? They competed with Man City, as a matter of fact, right? They competed well with Man City.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it changed their style. I love him. I'm a fan of Thiago. I've always liked him, right? But I think it changed the style. It slowed down the pace, the way they would, aggressively attack you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are teams that in those seasons you can hardly play out of your own half. They choke you. They play very high line. They try to choke you because anything that plays wing back very well. That's the idea of playing wing backs. That's what Chelsea has done to us. That's what our City has done. That's what Liverpool do. All these guys, they like to play wing back, just to, like, push you back, play you in your own half. If you try to go out, the problem with Liverpool was they even did it much better because when you then forcefully play out, they still chase you. Like they will like chase you, win the ball, and then still attack you with the same force. So it was easily done with Wanalom. It was well done with Wanalom, Fabio, Anderson, those days, right? Then Navigator joined the team. Matip joined the midfield, and they could just continue to do that. Remember when Wanalom was leaving too? I don't know, but the problem was whether it was
yeah,
salary or something, it wasn't just
Contracts.
happy,
Yeah, they
right?
didn't give him what he
People
wanted.
people didn't see that coming. Then that went, but because Thiago, who is a respected midfielder, came, people didn't really pay attention to that. But we could see that slowly, maybe Klopp was like, okay, I might not be able to sustain this chaotic style of football forever. So I need to be able to blend someone that is more mature that could hold the ball, which is very good. Thiago could hold the ball for them. He could look, he could, kind of, throw those passes, those true balls. So he was doing the true balls. Days of Wanalom, it was like hard workers, just hard workers doing the hard work and doing the job and just making things happen. Then to your point, money. The money happened again, and that goes back to the succession, right? It's good to build, it's good to plan to build, it's good to execute. It's a problem not to sustain the staff, which is sustenance and continuous improvement. So they didn't look for that. There was no proper succession plan. And I think I was mentioning it before I lost my audio. The reason for keeping Salah, if I was correct, the reason was keeping Salah was to look at the data. Then it was to them it was data based, right? In
yeah.
terms of number of goals. But if you really remove the number of goals that Salah scored
And
via
look at the
penalties,
contribution.
via penalties, removed because he was the penalty taker.
Yeah.
He would take out, and that kind of increased his tally. So let's remove the penalties that anybody could have taken, which some of them Mane won. Mane won some of the penalties, but Salah took it. Right? So if we had done that, let's remove that and let's compare the assists. Maybe Mane should have stayed and Salah should have gone. Right? But I think the decision was made. It was already baked because Mane wasn't happy. He was going to leave. He felt like he was like a second fiddle. So what's the point? He already made up his mind. So Diaz came in, Jota came in. They are not Mane, but they were trying. They were trying to fill the gap. Right?
And then
But
they
injury
also
came.
got injured.
So injury came. And that messed up the whole thing. So it's a problem, and you can only blame the manager for not seeing that coming. Again, we've talked about this I and one other friend about Arsenal.
You can't blame
Can you really
the
plan for
manager.
everything? You can't really plan for everything, right? You only plan for few things because you don't have money to try and like Chelsea like buy 36 players, right? And even Chelsea, you buy 36 players, like 25 are injured, So sometimes things still happen, right? But that's the
It is
problem
what it
Liverpool
is.
is. That's the problem Liverpool is facing. I don't like Everton, especially for the game they played Arsenal two weekends ago. I don't think they will be able to turn that hit again against Liverpool. Liverpool just lost. It's going to be in Anfield. Anfield used to be a dreadful place to go and play. It's no longer the place this season. This season, at least people have gone there, have succeeded, right? Brentford has gone there. Brighton has played. Teams have gone there. Even City
Brighton
went
had
there,
a field day.
right? So yeah, they've had great days. So I think the worst that would happen to Liverpool would be a draw. But I think Liverpool will try to fight. I know they are not back. I know they are inconsistent, but I don't see Everton going there. Everton had a chance against us now with Sean Dyche, being his first game because it was an home game, and the crowd was, on fire. There won't be crowd tomorrow. The crowd will be Anfield. I don't think they've finally gone back. Stop supporting club. I think they still want to give it to the rest of the season. I think they might be the 12th person that Liverpool might need tomorrow to overcome the power of Everton. Everton will come out with some, energy, but let's see if the Liverpool energy can match the Everton energy. After this game, let's talk about your guy Onana. That's all I'll say.
So, if you were to give a prediction, what do you think the scoreline would be? It's a scoreline prediction.
I think it will be a 3-1 for Liverpool.
A 3-1. Wow,
Yeah.
big win. Okay. Akintayo, are you feeling the same way?
No.
No.
I'm not feeling
that was
the
an
same way.
adamant no.
There are going to be goals, but I think
What's the likely
it's going to
outcome?
be 3-2 Everton.
3-2 Everton win. Okay.
You see Everton scoring that much goals?
Oh yeah.
I don't see. I mean, Sean Dyche don't score a lot of goals, but
He doesn't.
we'll see.
He has the players that can do it though.
What are those players?
Mope can score.
Cavaloon is probably
Mope is there. He can
Mope
score
hasn't
goals.
hit the ground so far this season. He's been
He
fighting.
hasn't, but okay, but they have.
I mean, what he did against Arsenal was
they have
embarrassing.
Gray.
What was that for?
They have Gray. They have
Man.
O'Neal. What's the name of the guy
I
that
don't
plays
like
from the Leeds?
I don't like players showing such antics, man. That's
What about antics?
unprofessional.
McNeil.
Did you
You're
see what he
talking
did
about
against
McNeil?
Mope? Did you see what Mope did against
he
Arsenal?
always throws tactics, yeah.
Did you see that? What was that for?
Since he was at Brighton, he's been throwing tactics.
It's been like that. That's his life.
Tantrums. Yeah, that's his style.
That's
That's
it.
the style of play. Yeah. His style.
So
3-2
All right.
Everton. Yeah.
again,
3-2 Everton.
it's a pendulum swing for Liverpool. I think it's going to be the up-bound tomorrow.
I
That's what I think.
don't see
Based on
Liverpool
that.
getting a win, but in a few hours we shall see.
It's
All
a
right,
win out of like
let's-
3 games. Yeah.
Let's
So it might be
let's switch our focus over to the Arsenal Man City game, the top of the table clash. City
though.
had a big. It is, yeah. City had a big win, 3-1. They've closed the gap, just 3 points behind Arsenal now, and a lot of people are saying this game might even decide the title. Akintayo, do you think this game is that big? Does it come down to that? Does it come down to a winner takes all?
I don't think this game
From
will
this
determine
one
who wins-
game?
I don't think this game will determine who wins the league. But it's
Okay.
just whoever wins stands in a better place. That's all I'll say. It's going to be a tough match. It's going to be a tough match. 2 brilliant coaches trying out different tricks, But I think I see Man City winning the match for some reason.
Okay. Tell us why.
okay,
What do you
so-
see? Where are the key matchups? And where's the
Midfield.
advantage for City?
Midfield is going to be the major place. And
Okay.
I see them overrunning Arsenal in the midfield. Because right now you can't really predict what Pep is going to play. Today's game, the game I watched them play today was quite different from the normal Man City game. He used a lot of midfielders, just top part the midfield, and they took over the midfield from Aston Villa throughout the game. They didn't have the only goal they scored was a mistake, one mistake and a true pass. They didn't really have a hold of the midfield. Douglas Luiz and the other guy Kamara, they didn't even spell anything in the midfield. So midfield is going to be where the battle is going to be.
Okay.
It's going to be where the battle is going to be, and if whoever wins the midfield is going to win the game. That's what I believe. And I don't know. I see if those guys play the way they play today, they probably will win the midfield from Arsenal right now. Because
Okay.
Rodri is playing well. Bernardo Silva is highly skillful player. They have players that can. Gundogan is fantastic. And
Yeah.
De Bruyne, what can we say about him? So I see them winning the game. And it's going to be an entertaining game that you wouldn't want to get up for your seat throughout the game. You just want to sit down, just keep watching, you know. So it's going to be a beautiful game, but I see Man City winning.
Bjorn, I know you've been worried about Arsenal for the past few weeks. You talked about it before the Tottenham game. You talked about it before Man U, and you even talked about it before the Everton and Brentford games as well. And those past two games haven't gone very well for Arsenal. What are you seeing? How are you feeling ahead of City? Are you more confident this time, or do you have similar doubts?
I mean, I was worried. I told you before the Brentford, I was no longer worried. I was like, I mean, my worst fear has come and gone. So I'm at the point of I don't think it's about the fear or worries of any fan at this point. I think it's up to the squad
Okay.
to actually prove to us what they are about this season.
And you're talking
I'll
about
tell you
Arsenal
this.
now.
Yeah, and I'm talking about Arsenal, not about me being a fan. I think the game against City, at this point, I'm not thinking about matchups. I'm not thinking about the coach. I think whoever has the confidence, the boldness, the mental capability of belief, whoever believes more, whoever think, yes, I can, will win this game. And I think as an Arsenal fan, that's what I would tell the squad to go out and do. Go there with a belief. Go there with that confidence. Go there and put everything past you, everything that has happened in the last 2 weeks behind. Throw it in the garbage. And go in there and play out your mind. Play without fear. Play with the best ability and creative mind that you have. It doesn't matter whether it's Guardiola. We've been City before. We've been City on our way to the FA Cup. I don't care, right? Last season, the second game, with one man on red card, with 10 men, we almost won the game. It was a silly mistake because we lost concentration. We outplayed them,
At the
right?
end, Rodri.
City is beatable. Other teams have proved that this season. The same Brentford that held us to a draw beat City at home. Football is not mathematics, so I get that, right? Tottenham that will beat home and away beats them, right? Man United that we taught how to play beats them. You understand? If I were the manager, these are things I need to tell them that will encourage them to go all out there and play with belief. This game is a game of belief. If you have the belief, you would win the game. You're talking about the midfielders. We have the same midfielders that have the same quality. What is the difference between City and Arsenal? It's depth. It's the depth that has caught up with Arsenal. That's the problem you've seen. Everton, Brentford. It's the same breadth that every fan has dreaded. That's why I said my worst fear has come and gone. We've always been worried about the depth, and we've felt it. We've missed it. Jesus is out. Jesus would have given us an option. Trossard gave us an option. Probably we need to have scored in that game if Trossard didn't come in. You see what I'm saying? So we have depth issue. We know that. We know the disadvantage. He has a better squad. Guardiola had the better squad. Look at all the bench. Only one person is injured, Stones. He has like 4 defenders that can come in and do the job. So he has depth. And I think what he did today was a mind game. It was to send a signal to Arteta to say, don't even try to predict what I'm about to do to you on Wednesday. It's to let him not go to sleep. Arteta should know he had worked for this guy. You said 2 best coach. I don't think it's 2 best coach. I think it's one established coach and an upcoming coach. So we are the underdogs here. And we will take the underdog seat. Right? So he was sending a signal to Arteta to say, hey bro, I love you, my my mentee, my pro T, don't think you can figure me out. But I tell you this, it's the same formation that we know. It's going to be the same 4-3-3. Write it down today. It's going to be Hake, Hakonji, Walker, what's it called? Ake, Akonji, Walker, right? And it's going to be 5 midfielders.
Okay.
Or 6, right? So it's going to be KDB, it's going to be Rodri, it's going to be Bernardo Silva, it's going to be Gundogan, it's going to be Haaland, it's going to be Grealish, and it's going to be Maris, because those are the guys that are in form right now, right? If Haaland doesn't start, I don't believe Haaland is injured. I think it's also another mind game,
Hmm.
right? To say,
Yeah.
hey, forget Haaland, I have Alvarez. Or forget Alvarez, I have Haaland. Or let Arteta go and build his team around Alvarez to plot. Then they come back and bring Haaland. We don't care. Let him play whatever he wants to play. You understand? They are coming to the Emirates. I want the fans to support the team, right? Let us do whatever team did to us and do it to him. Let us shut him down. Tottenham beats him, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can beat him. You understand what I'm saying? It's the game of
Yeah.
belief at this point. And I see the way you're looking at me, right? This is the game of belief. But I will say this. That's just me. If whatever happens, take that as the champion has just emerged. And I will not be ashamed if we concede the title to City, because we have not considered the title to Chelsea. We have not considered the title to United. We are conceding the title to a better team. I actually think whoever goes ahead and win is the better team and the stronger team, mentally and physically. And that's the truth, because we've come. I think the team has carried a lot of weight the first half of the season, and I think it's beginning to weigh down on them. That resilience has to show. This is when Arsenal can prove whether they are resilient or not. If they break, I understand it's a young squad. We pick up ourselves and we try again. I think they've come a long way. They've tried, but I think the weight is, burning them down right now. And I think it's too heavy. They need a manager and they need somebody to lift them up, to carry the load. It's a lot of weight. We don't have the depth that every other team has, and we are struggling from that. Partey played 90 minutes, and we expect him to come back on Wednesday to deliver. Jorginho will not be able to do that for us. So I don't expect Jorginho to play. I expect Partey to play. It's going to be tough for us, having Partey to play another 90 minutes against a team that's going to move around the pitch. It's a lot of work, but I think we can do it. We just need to believe, and we'll shut them down.
Okay. Very, very insightful points. Akintaya has talked about how, the midfield is likely to overrun City and City is likely to control the game. From Biodun's perspective, it's all about the mentality, and he thinks Arsenal is starting to show signs of fatigue. Biodun, let me ask that question to you again. Would you expect changes from Arteta? We know his first 11. The whole world knows his first 11. When we're looking at fatigue and thinking about maybe the midfield, threat that Akitayo says City brings, would you expect some changes from Arteta in this game, or are you expecting Arteta to go in with his tried and trusted 11?
That's a tough one. I expected a change against Brentford. I didn't see that. Now I'm thinking.
What was the change you were expecting in that game?
I didn't expect Nketiah to play 90 minutes.
Okay.
I didn't expect Nketiah to play 90 minutes. We have Trossard, and I think Trossard needs to start. And Trossard, based on records, is good on big games. This is a big game. Trossard has scored in all big games. He disappears in small games. So I think this is a game for Trossard to start. And I think this is a game whereby maybe Nketiah needs to sit. The only challenge I have is what's this called? Is Arteta's ego going to prevent him from doing that, because he's going against Pep and he wants to prove to Pep that he has something, right? So he's probably going to try to stick to his style and say, plan A, if you go for plan A and it doesn't work, press on plan A. If plan A doesn't work, press presser, right? I don't know if that's what he's going to do. Arteta might do that. Pep can switch to BC. We don't really have BCD. We have A doesn't work, continue.
Try again. Yeah.
Try again, do it better, right? So, but in this case, if he doesn't mind, I think I would like to play Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka instead, because that mobility will be too much for Hake and Akojin to handle. In Nketiah, staying and looking for opportunities might not come, because it might be too hard to get that through ball across City. But if we have those three lines, Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka running, and this is where I need Martinelli. Pep said something 2 weeks ago, which I knew is one of his mind game antics as well, when he said, "Oh, Martinelli is so good. He's a weapon." Come on, man. Martinelli has not been a weapon for 3 weeks. Why would he say that? I think he said that because he wanted us to play Martinelli, right? Because you know that this guy is probably on a little decline. You understand? So he does this mind game of a thing. But now that you have said that, I would like one Martinelli to actually prove him right, to say, yes, I'm a weapon and I will destroy you. So let's play Martinelli, Trossard, and Saka, and let's sit Nketiah
And
for the
get care
second
for this
half
game.
if we need him.
So Akitayo,
Mm-hmm.
you've talked about the midfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you see a City win. Is there any chance for Arsenal from your perspective? And if so, what can Arteta and Arsenal do differently to
Okay,
ensure they come out on top in this title race?
the only way I feel Arsenal can win is like what he said. Bench and
Okay.
Nketiah. Nketiah doesn't have any business in that game. He needs some.
Mm.
I noticed that Martinelli played better against Brentford when he was given like a free role. He wasn't restricted to the wings. He was able to come into. Notice there was a snapshot that he took outside of the box.
At the edge
Yeah,
of the
that was
box
because
from the corner.
He was given a free role
Mm.
to roam and do whatever he can do. So I think if they play those three guys, they can easily switch, interchange, and that will confuse the defense of Man City.
Mm.
But the problem I'm going to have tomorrow on the match is this: I see Guardiola going back to his 4-3-3.
Okay.
He's going to play a Walker that has pace because he knows Martinelli has pace. He's going to play a Walker. He's going to put an Ake on the left. And he's
Okay.
going to play
Saka.
Ruben, yeah, because of Saka. And he'll play Ruben Diaz and Akonji in the center
Akanji.
defense. That is what he's going to
Okay.
do. Or Laporte and Akonji in the center defense.
Okay.
Knowing fully well that Arsenal guys they have pace and they're very skillful. So he's going to want to shut that place down. He's not going to play the same formation he played today. He won't play because that would be like taking a big risk. So he rather play that way and put Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, and then Goodwin in the midfield and play what do you call it? What's the name of that English boy?
Grealish.
Grealish and Mahrez.
Mahrez.
Yeah, and play either he plays Haaland or he plays what's the
Alvarez.
guy? Yeah, Alvarez. I think that's
So
what's going to play.
Speaking of Alvarez, let me throw this to you guys. Okay, so let's say we're all saying, Haaland is likely going to be fit and it's just mind games at this point. And over the last couple of weeks, we've seen Pep make a very interesting decision in that he decides to bench someone who all of us would previously have thought was undroppable in Kevin De Bruyne. Do you guys see KDB being dropped for this game, or is it too big where Pep says, okay, this is a game where I need KDB to be in the starting lineup? Is there even a chance that KDB doesn't play?
I don't know. Pep is funny. He could decide to use two strikers, play Ireland and Alvarez.
And Alvarez together.
So you can't predict. You can't really predict Pep. But I don't think KDB should be dropped. Those passes that he throws is, I think that's the only player in that team that can do that easily. Yeah. So I don't. They will need him in that game because, trust me, most of the attacks will be from the wings. Yeah, from the Mahrez, from the Grealish. They're going to attack from the wings, and they try to feed in Ireland, For me, I'd rather start up an Alvarez than Ireland because he's more dynamic. When Alvarez plays, they're not looking for a point man. They're not all looking, let me pass to Ireland, let me pass to Ireland. No, everybody's playing their game. And like when they were playing Foden as a point man, and they were easily interchanging and stuff like that. And that's what I expect from Arsenal too. Don't play a point man. Don't play an Nketiah. You don't need an Nketiah in that game. You need players that they cannot predict up front. A Trossard is somebody they can't predict. You can drift to the left, drift to the right. They can easily change. So that game on Wednesday, right? That game is going to be more of game of the mind game. It's the game going to be won from the bench, basically.
So interestingly, what I think I'm going to be looking for is to see if Alvarez starts, and I'll tell you why against Arsenal. If Alvarez starts, I think I'm going to be worried for Arsenal because Alvarez, and he did this for Argentina at the World Cup as well, he has proven to be unpredictable. Haaland, I think teams are starting to figure Haaland out in terms of what he brings. He also adds you just talked about it, right, in terms of the false nine and, not having that point man in terms of the way City play. I think he also adds a deficiency that is key to the way City defend, right? We talk a lot about attack being the best form of defense, and I think it's the same thing that's bothering Liverpool this season. Haaland is not very good at the press. These teams typically like to win the ball in the opposition half where they're already close to your goal and they're able to immediately cause, problems with a few passes. I think for Arsenal, when Haaland starts, it makes it easier for a team like Arsenal that is good at playing out from the back. It makes it easier for them to build out. With Alvarez, I think that becomes a lot more difficult. And I think that's why Pep maybe has been dropping KDB in some games, because it then becomes a problem when you're having the likes of KDB and Haaland playing together in terms of, that upfront press. And so for me, if Alvarez starts, I think it's going to be a much tougher game for Arsenal. If Haaland starts, I think it'll be a much more balanced game. Also, the last two games, it's going to be a lot different from what Arsenal has experienced, right? Arsenal has come up against Everton and Brentford in teams that they would typically stay very physical and very compact and very disciplined. You have 9 men behind the ball, and typically just literally daring you to break them down and find your route to goal. And it's going to be different from City because City don't play that way.
They don't sit back.
They want to be on the front foot. If they're ever caught on the defense, they will sit and they will look for an opportunity to get at you and get the ball back and go on the offense. So I think it's going to be an open game. I think we're going to see shifts in possession. Arsenal will control the game in bits. They will have to defend and we'll see City taking over. And I think it's going to be a bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm personally hoping for a draw. I'm thinking a 1-1 or 2-2 draw. Akitayo, what's the scoreline? You saw City winning.
Okay, so I'll go for a City win because I think Arsenal, every team in the season always have their bad time. And I think this is like the challenging
Arsenal's
time for Arsenal. And this will speak to the mental capacity of the players if they can pull through. Because every team always have this season, they have this time in the season that they're always having issues, struggling to wrap up games and stuff like that. I think this is their time. So if they're able to hold on to this match and probably pull a draw, then I think they're gradually getting out of that phase of troubled season, troubled time in the season. So I don't know. I see City winning. I see a 3-2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beardo. Scoreline time.
I don't want to predict.
I know. That's why I called you up.
My hope is that we'll win. I think we can win, and I think it depends on the player. Like I said, it's a game of belief. At this point, it's not a matter of. It doesn't matter what tactics it is, right?
But Beardo, the problem I'm having with Pep, with your coach, is that he's going to start the same guys. I'll be shocked.
I've said it out. If you remember, I've called it. I've called him out.
I'll be shocked
I have
if
watched Arteta since he
put Ketia on back. I'll be shocked if he does.
I have watched.
That's what I see him doing.
Yeah, I have watched Arteta since he took the job.
All he's been doing, he has not really.
I can tell you. I can give you instances where he ends up making a decision that we expected him to make 3, 4, 5 weeks before, like ago, right? He will end up making it. It takes his time. I don't know why he does that. I think it's part of being a manager. He has the job. I don't have the job. And I think he has a plan. And it makes sense. If he has a plan, he's the owner of the plan. And sometimes plans need time to be effective. It's a gamble, it's a risk to try that out in real life because this is production, right? So this is real life. So he's trying it out in real life. And this is the best way to check it out, to see if the plan is good enough or not. Now, it could start the same thing. I don't agree. I won't be disappointed. I'll be mad, but I won't be disappointed because it's Arteta. And he might be willing to switch it up in second half. Think, okay, let me start with this. So again, I don't know what they are both thinking. They have worked together. They know themselves much more. They will also look at the squad that they have. And they will look at things to say, who is ready? We might think Trossard should start. He might think Trossard is not fit, right? I don't know.
True.
Maybe training is not speaking well, and they're like, okay, this guy's just not fit. Maybe Ketia is doing some things in training that is just not being able to execute on the pitch. Maybe that's why I don't know, right? But on the pitch that we all see, we know that this is the lack of depth that we are suffering from because we saw Nketiah not being able to open up the defense. Our style in the last 2-3 games has been midfielders open up the defense for me so that I can score. During Jesus time, Jesus will like, I can help you midfielders to open up the defense. We are not getting that, right? We want to see Nketiah help our midfielders to open up the defense in tight cases like this. He is sitting out there looking for the Odegaard and then Saka to open up. Saka, Martinelli has been doubled up so far. I don't see them doubled up against City because City is like, we are superior. That's how they will come. They will come like, we are superior. So we're not going to be spending our time doubling up on your player. It's an opportunity for Saka to prove himself. Again, he's a young guy. He's a kid to Walker. But I think, hopefully, he can come out better than Walker and get the better of Walker or Ake, whoever, plays against him. You understand? That's my desire. You talked about Alvarez. Ayo, whether Alvarez starts or he doesn't start, he will come in at some point. So the point
True
is,
that.
You understand? The point is, Arteta shouldn't bank on that. You should bank on how do we play against whoever play. Whether Alvarez starts or not, he's going to play at
He's
some
going
point.
to face us at some point.
KDB did not play against Tottenham. The
But he came on.
the only other prayer I can pray is let them have another bust out in training ground and he gets benched. KDB being benched, I think it was a punishment of probably what's going on the training ground, right? I mean, they were losing to Tottenham. They didn't have a choice. They had to bring him in. And what KDB does for Man City, nobody else does it. See that second goal against Aston Villa, right? That the defender lost possession, right? That was a
oh my goodness.
That pass across only comes from KDB. You see what I'm saying? So that's the kind of play because he plays direct ball. He's always hitting you with direct passes, straightforward passes. So
and they're put in very dangerous places.
Exactly. Arsenal Man City don't play man marking. They don't. That's not our style. We let you play, you let us play. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very open game. It's going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah.
They'll play us who play them. You understand what I'm saying? It depends on who takes the finishes. It depends on who have quality to finish well. Ketia might not have the quality that Mahrez, Grealish.
He has quality. He scored against Man U now. So anything is possible.
He did. He's gotten goals.
He won the match against Man U for you guys. So
yeah,
all right.
He does have the quality.
I don't think we're here to talk about Nketiah as a person because I'll say this. To be fair to him, it's been great and I appreciate and I think he's delivered at his level. Has he strengthened the team? I don't think so. Has he sustained the team and kept us at that level and not dropped us below what we feared? Yes, he hasn't dropped us below. He has sustained us, but he hasn't strengthened us. That's the truth. You talked about against Man U, bro. The first goal was a clear header. He should have scored it, and he did. Wan-Bissaka wasn't marking. That was a clear header. He should have scored. The second goal was a flick. He should have made an attempt. He made an attempt. He went in. But remember, before that time, he had a one-on-one with De Gea. De Gea caught
it was right at the hair.
I think
quality to finish. When you talk about quality to finish, I just wanted to remind you.
But the thing
that's
is,
how a striker finished, but he didn't finish that.
I think you guys they're not giving enough credit to that guy.
I just gave credit.
Oh,
no, but those credits, I don't think you're giving enough credit to him. In the sense that
there's no more credit.
Hold on. Let Akita.
Jesus doesn't score. He sees chances and he doesn't bury them. This season.
Yeah.
Yes,
I know. We all talked about that a bit.
Yeah, he plays in the team. He makes the team play better, but he's not been delivering when it comes to goal scoring. That's why you bought him. He's a 9. He's not been scoring the goals. Even clear-cut chances, he's been missing it. But Nketiah is scoring the goals. Does he help the team apart from scoring the goals? Maybe not. But he's scoring, he's delivering.
Can I speak to that?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, Biodun. Yeah.
I agree with you. Arguments were taken. But here's the point, right? Well, I cannot answer that if we bought Jesus to score or we bought Jesus to win and get 3 points. That's a response for
You
Arteta.
bought him to score, he's a striker.
No. This is what I know. This is what I think, and I'll say it. And I'm wrong.
Okay.
I think what's more important to Arsenal, what's more important to Arteta is 3 points, and that's what Jesus gets us. Who scores doesn't matter. The way Arteta play and the way we've been playing with Jesus before he got injured is to win games. It doesn't matter who scores. It's us scoring. And go check the records. Yes, I agree with you. That's a shortfall. And that has been his problem even during the days of our City. I think we just lost Akintayo. And that has been the problem right from City days. He's not been a clinical finisher. We know that. And that's why sometimes Pep will switch him to the side. He has never been a clinical finisher. We all know that. But the point is, do we get the 3 points? 3 points is what matters. I don't care who scores. What I want is creating chances, scoring. It could be Odegaard, it could be Saka, it could be anybody. Give me the 3 points.
And I think both of you make very good points, right? It's clear the styles are different with Nketiah and Jesus. You said we don't give enough credit to Nketiah because he's done fantastic. And a lot of goals that he scored, Jesus probably wouldn't have scored in similar situations as we saw, earlier in the season. But there's also the fact that Jesus makes the other players better around him, right? We haven't seen Martinelli really deliver an assist or a goal since Jesus has been injured.
That is on Martinelli, though.
And so, that's what I'm saying, right? There's just a different approach from both strikers in that Jesus helps other players to be better. Maybe even when, Martinelli is not as good as we maybe expect him to be, or we expect him to find other opportunities, Jesus is there to help him up. And Nketiah really doesn't have, I guess, that level of impact on the game yet that we might want from him at other times as well. Okay, so it's going to be I can tell you. Quick point before we round up.
Okay, so what I'm saying is Timo Werner is a point man. He doesn't score goals. He runs and helps the team and stuff like that. But you bought him in to score goals. And that's why the reason why the Chelsea let him go. You're not scoring the goals we brought you into.
Yeah, you could say that because that was a forward. That was like a real striker, right? I mean, that's what he was doing.
Jesus is a real striker. He's a 9 for Brazil.
Not really, though. Jesus never really played as a striker at City,
that's the truth.
if you remember.
Okay. But for Brazil, he's a 9 for Brazil.
Is he a starting 9? No, Richarlison starts ahead of him.
Okay, so they started using.
I mean, you know that, right? You're talking about the Brazilian squad now. It doesn't start.
They started using Richarlison. You know that. It was when Richarlison came on board.
Check all the games. Check the what's it called, the Copa America. Jesus didn't start. He could play if they play 4-4-2
on the wings.
If they play one striker, he was on the bench. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, very exciting week ahead with these 2 games. Let's see what the results bring. Whether Liverpool are able to find some form against Everton and through their recent form out the window, and let's see this top of the table clash. Well, until Thursday, thank you all for sticking with us, and we'll review the games for Game Week 24. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.